Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Rogers Center. This is the pregame festivities, the Friday Fan Festival outside Rogers Center. That is the Tokyo Police Club playing before this ball game, and now the fans have moved indoors for the first of three against Buck Showalter and the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles have a game-and-a-half lead over the Blue Jays in the AL East. They stand at 58-43 for the season. Let's take a look at their lineup for Buck Showalter. Adam Jones, Young-Soo Kim, and then Manny Machado. And you see his numbers against the Blue Jays. They're very impressive. 9 extra base hits for Machado, including 7 RBIs. And J.J. Hardy, he's starting to heat up a bit over his last 8 games. He's 12 for 27 with a couple of ribbies. This is a very potent lineup, much like that of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, hit a lot of home runs, so Marco Estrada's got to get that changeup working. And that cutter. 18th start of the season for Marco. This is his 3rd start of the season for Baltimore. He's held the Orioles to 3 earned runs or less in each of his 6 starts as a Blue Jay. ERA under 3 at 2.94. Lefties hitting 202, righties 154. That adds up to 179 batting average against. That's #1 in all of baseball. Last time out, he allowed 5 hits for the first time in a game since April the 16th.
Adam Jones steps in, the leadoff man. He is 1 for 12 against Estrada for his career. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Adam Jones had second thoughts about that first call of the ball game.
Already complaining.
Okay.
You got to be careful with this guy. He hit a home run the first pitch he saw in yesterday's ball game in Minnesota.
Good curveball, and it's 0-2 quickly. Well, Marco's been dealing with that back injury. It forced him onto the disabled list, and as Pat mentioned, he wasn't really sharp, wasn't on his game last time out.
Had to throw more fastballs in that last start against Seattle.
Changeup just off the plate.
He also threw fewer cutters in his last start, and that's one of the pitches that he said has really taken him to the next level, that addition of the cutter to the changeup and the curveball.
1-2 pitch to Jones. Strike 3 called. The fastball. Jones looking for something other than that fastball, and he's talking to Manny Gonzalez, the home plate umpire, about that called strike 3. Anytime these two ball clubs get together, they're very tightly contested games.
And I'll tell you, you better bring your A game. What a job by Russell Martin to frame that thing up and keep it right at the knees. Buck Showalter not real happy with that first call from Manny Gonzalez.
This is Young-Soo Kim, the left fielder. Kim has been bothered by a hamstring problem. He's just fresh off the disabled list. His average is good at 327, but he hasn't been as productive as they would have hoped.
His value is as an on-base percentage machine. You see the on-base percentage at .411. Get on base ahead of these sluggers. And they've got plenty of sluggers in their lineup.
Estrada behind 2-0. Now it's 3-0. Speaking of sluggers, Manny Machado is on deck. Machado a 308 average. 51 extra base hits for Machado. There's a strike. These two ball clubs have split the first 10 games they have played this season. How about that? You talk about getting on base. Kim took advantage of the shift and dropped down a beautiful bunt to get on base.
We'll have to make a note of that one, that he'll do that to help that on-base percentage. He averages about 4 pitches per plate appearance. He's got a great eye at the plate. Got himself into a fastball count. Recognized that Josh Donaldson was off the bag and playing deep. All you have to do is get it by the pitcher if you're going to do that.
Boy, he was very patient too. He wasn't worried about pulling off a surprise. He just squared around and dropped down a perfect bunt. 1 out for Manny Machado. New ball for Estrada. Machado has worn out the Blue Jays this season. 18 for 39. That's a .462 average.
You know what makes him so tough? He can hit any pitch, any part of the ballpark. We've seen him take the ball to right field. We've seen him pull it down the line. And he's got power. Power to all fields.
I mentioned 51 extra base hits, 30 doubles, 21 home runs. He has 7 doubles and 2 homers against the Blue Jays this season.
Be careful here. 2-0.
From a 2-0 changeup in the dirt. You could be saying that all series long with these two lineups. Be careful here.
And it doesn't have to be the third hitter or the fourth hitter or the fifth. Go on down 7, 8, 9. There is power up and down both of these lineups.
3-0 pitch, and you can bet Machado's got the green light. He takes ball 4. Well, we've got 2 of the best defensive ball clubs in the American League. Toronto has committed just 46 errors. That's the second fewest errors in the American League. Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista from left to right in the outfield. Josh Donaldson's had a terrific season at third base. He's committed just 6 errors. Tulowitzki and Barney up the middle. Smoke at first, and Russell Martin behind the plate.
And great defenses, I think, always start with great shortstops, and we have 2 of the best scoring right here. This is Troy Tulowitzki. He hasn't made an error since May the 27th. He's got the second highest zone rating as a shortstop in the American League.
So after Adam Jones had a chat with Manny Gonzalez, the strike zone seems to be getting smaller. Jones was called out on strikes. And then Kim on a 3-1 pitch bunted for a base hit. Machado walked. Change up in the dirt. Well, Estrada's strength is obviously pitching ahead, and Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop, is going to come in and have a little chat, a little pep talk for Estrada.
Pitching ahead and using that changeup. Right now, he's trying to introduce it early in the count. We've seen Marco in the past at times establish the fastball first time through the lineup and then use the changeup. Right now, he's using it early in the count, and he's bouncing it.
Chris Davis with a 2-0 count. There's a fastball strike. Seattle had a different approach against Estrada than we've seen in the past, and how might that help the Orioles in their approach against Marco tonight?
Well, if they were paying attention to that start, I thought Seattle's approach was they were looking for the changeup, and every one of the hitters, those good hitters, were sitting on that changeup and then fouling off the fastball. So I think you need to use the fastball a little bit more, and I think that's why Marco finally realized that in that start, started to use his fastball just a little bit more. 53.5% of the time he used his fastball, is usually in the mid-40s.
2-2 to Chris Davis. Off the end of the bat. Smoke will go to first and step on the bag ahead of Davis. He thought about second base, but it was going to be iffy whether or not he could get Machado.
They were in the shift, and Troy Tulowitzki was not coming across the bag. He was running towards it like a second baseman, so there really wasn't a good throwing angle for Justin Smoke. He was going to have to hit a moving target, so he did the right thing. He didn't panic, and he just got the out over at first base.
Especially in the first inning, you can see Tulowitzki, Estrada, and Martin all conversing about this next at bat. Marco's done a terrific job of pitching out of trouble all season long. He has done a great job of stranding base runners with runners in scoring position. Mark Trumbo, big power numbers for the big right-handed hitter. 30 homers and 73 driven in. Curveball. Falls behind. Trumbo, in his first season with Baltimore, has put up big numbers. You see the home run leaders in the American League. Trumbo, Todd Frazier, the White Sox, and then a couple of Blue Jays, Encarnacion and Donaldson, 27 and 25, respectively. Changeup popped into the seats out of play.
Way out in front of that one is Trumbo. Blue Jays have done a good job against Mark Trumbo this year. The big power hitter. Marco in particular giving up just 2 hits to Trumbo in his career.
2 for 10 for Trumbo against Estrada. One of those a home run, but Trumbo has not homered against the Blue Jays this season. Took a shot inside and missed with the fastball. Marco has thrown 21 pitches in this first inning. Good fastball. Martin's doing a good job of reintroducing the fastball here.
I think you have to establish it early. Show the Baltimore Orioles that you're going to use that fastball. And then once they try to adjust to that, then you can use your curveball. Then you can use your changeup. He's a big power hitter, but he's a swing and miss kind of guy, too. If you make good pitches to him, you can strike him out.
Driven in the alley, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. That'll chase home 2. Trumbo with a opposite field 2-strike 2-out double has given the Orioles a 2-0 lead as Kim and Machado both come in to score.
Plates the 2 runs with a clutch 2-out base hit. You had mentioned that Estrada had done a good job of retiring runners when they are in scoring position, 2 outs, to try to slip a fastball by him. One more time. Trumbo is going to drive in his 74th and 75th run of the season with this double to right center. And the Orioles strike first.
Matt Wieters, the switch hitting catcher, batting with Trumbo at second. Another fastball strike. Wieters 245 for the season. He has 9 home runs. The Orioles are first in the American League with 151 home runs. Change up, check swing, foul. Well, we mentioned these 2 teams for the first 10 games of the season have combined to score 11 runs a game. So Marco Estrada just has to think about minimizing the damage.
Yeah, retire him right here, give that offense a chance. I'm telling you, the numbers when these 2 teams get together, they're stacked up. They're so even.
Change up for the strikeout. Estrada strikes out Wieters to end the inning, but Mark Trumbo, the big right-hander, with a 2-strike 2-out double to the alley in right center, drives home 2 to give the Orioles an early lead. Now they've fallen behind early 2-0, but it's not a problem for John Gibbons' offense. They can score runs in bunches. Take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays tonight. Top of the order, Jose Bautista. Josh Donaldson batting in the 2 spot. He's hitting .300 for the season, and over his last 20 games, hitting nearly .360 with 13 extra base hits. Then in the 4th spot, Michael Saunders has really hit well against the Orioles this season, including a 3-home run game. .475 for the season with 11 extra base hits and 12 RBIs. These two lineups are pretty evenly matched.
Yes, they are. And the Blue Jays will get Kevin Gausman in game 1. He's the former first-round draft pick of the Orioles back in 2012, the number 4 overall pick that year, and he's finally coming into his own. He's making his 18th start of the season. He began the year on the disabled list with a right shoulder strain, but lately he has been throwing much better. His record's 2-7, but his ERA is at 3.7. He is 2-1 in 10 career appearances versus the Blue Jays. He's had 5 starts against the Jays, and he's had 5 relief appearances against Toronto. He faced them once this season. That was right here at Rogers Center back on June the 10th.
Blue Jays won that game in extra innings 4-3 on an Edwin Encarnacion walk-off homer. Jose Bautista takes a first pitch strike from Gausman. Jose playing in just his 4th game since coming off the disabled list. He missed about 6 weeks with that toe injury. Swing and a drive deep to left field, and Jose is back.
These types of series, big series against American League East foes, I think brings out the best in Jose Bautista. We've seen him do it in Boston. We've seen him do it on the big stage in New York. And this is a big series. Welcome back. Kevin Gausman throws him a breaking ball. And Jose hammered that thing.
26th career home run against the Orioles, and Bautista cuts into that Oriole lead immediately. A couple of heavyweights going to battle over these 3 days. Jim Reynolds, the umpire down at first, waving no swing on the Donaldson check swing.
One more time, the familiar leg kick, recognizes the breaking ball, and he gets all of it.
Well, having Bautista back, I don't care what his numbers suggest, he has an impact in the lineup. His presence alone makes pitchers do different things.
Get out of that leadoff spot. If he can do that, watch out.
Josh Donaldson 4 for 12 against Kevin Gausman. Pops this one in the air and foul ground. Long run for Chris Davis, the first baseman, and he's not going to get there.
He was the only guy who had a chance at getting that one. Everybody pulled around, respecting the power of Josh Donaldson. Chris Davis can't run it down. Donaldson gets another crack at Kevin Gausman.
One and 2 to Donaldson. A year ago, on July 29th, the Blue Jays were an even 500, 51-51, 7 games back of the front-running Yankees. The Orioles were 6 games back. They were in 2nd place, and then Troy Tulowitzki appeared on the scene, and things changed dramatically.
They certainly did. Right at the trade deadline, the Blue Jays reloaded. He was the first one. He and LaTroy Hawkins came over from Colorado, and the Blue Jays were a different team.
Donaldson back in the box. It's a 2-2 count. Fly ball to center. Jones has a beat on it, and Adam Jones makes the catch. 1 down. Well, we mentioned we have 2 of the top 3 defensive ball clubs in the American League. Baltimore has committed just 50 errors. In the outfield, it's Kim Jones and Trumbo. Mark Trumbo's got a terrific arm in right field. On the infield, Manny Machado played 43 games at short when J.J. Hardy was out. Scope is at second, Chris Davis at first, and Matt Wieters behind the plate.
Well, we talked about the shortstops being important. We showed you Troy Tulowitzki. How about J.J. Hardy? 3rd most games as a shortstop in club history. 757th game at shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles. Mark Belanger is second at 1,898, and we all know who's number one. Some guy named Ripken.
Cal Jr.
Over 2,300 games at shortstop.
That's stability. When you have three shortstop that have played that many games and you are certain about the quality of defense you're going to get. This is Edwin Encarnacion. He chases that breaking ball into the 1-2. Well, you talk about Bautista. He hit his 26th home run against the Orioles. Edwin has 33 career home runs against Baltimore, the most against any one ball club he's hit. Make it 34. So much for a 2-0 lead.
You know, I was looking at the numbers from Kevin Gausman this year. His splits, he's got outstanding stuff. Great fastball, breaking ball, and a split finger fastball. But his splits suggest he has troubles with right-handers. Coming into this game, right-handers hitting .295. And he's given up 16 home runs, 12 of them to right-handed batters. Add 2 more to that. 14 home runs out of 18 this year to right-handed hitters. Kind of odd when you've got that kind of stuff.
Melvin Upton Jr. said, man, you guys can hit. This is Michael Saunders, and we told you about Saunders' season against the Orioles. .475 this year Michael has hit against Baltimore. 19 for 40. Broken bat. J.J. Hardy right at second base makes the play. 2 down.
Well, when you get a fastball out over the plate like Edwin did, you can't miss it. He's been missing fastballs. He's been looking for breaking balls. This time he gets the fastball from Gausman, and this is what you got to do with it. They tried to elevate it, and they just didn't get it up high enough. And the big man knocks it out of here. That's 28 home runs for Edwin this year.
Well, the 2 big boppers have delivered here in the bottom of the first and erased that 2-0 deficit. Bautista and Encarnacion, and they've done that a lot in the past. Troy Tulowitzki takes a breaking ball upstairs. Tulo hits it high and deep to left. Kim didn't see it. Home run Tulowitzki. Up in a free spot in the first. July 29th in his first game as a Blue Jay, Troy Tulowitzki hit a home run. Just to celebrate the moment, he does it again.
Wow. Boys brought the hitting shoes tonight. One more time, another breaking ball. Bautista homering off a curveball. And Troy goes down and gets that one. Home run number 17. Kim didn't see it. We saw it. We saw it leave the ballpark.
Russell Martin, the catcher. Well, we told you these two teams average over 11 runs a game. They're halfway there in the first. Estrada has been given the lead. Bautista, Tulowitzki, and Encarnacion all with solo home runs here in the first. Oh, it's good to be back.
Yeah, welcome back. Where have you been? All right-handers, too. Pulling the ball against Kevin Gausman.
Martin takes ball 4, 2 out. Well, Pat, you and I always talk about the first game of a series, how important it is for a manager in manipulating his bullpen. You get into that bullpen in game one of a series, and it could be a tough weekend for the Orioles.
Well, you always want to win game one in a big series like that. Get game one, and if you can't get into that bullpen early, the Orioles, well, they figured something was up. They went out and picked up another reliever today. They're carrying 8 relievers in that bullpen for this series.
Dustin Smoke, the first baseman, was after that first pitch after the walk to Martin. Another good fastball at 96. Guy's been reluctant to go back to that breaking ball.
Yeah, it's been hit hard so far this inning. So he's just going to reach back and throw it as hard as he can to try and get Smokey. Teams at times will elevate the fastball against Justin.
Came right back with it. This one too high. 1-2. The Orioles scored 2 runs on a Trumbo 2-out double. He drove in 2, and the Blue Jays erased that immediately. In the bottom half of the first, Bautista got it started. Encarnacion with a 1-out solo home run, and Tulowitzki with a 2-out solo home run. One and 2 to Smoke. Melvin Upton. He's landing in a pretty good spot. Of course, he had most of his success as a player playing in the American League East. He knows what this pennant race is all about.
Probably saying, oh, good, I don't have to go chase some of those long fly balls that you guys used to hit. I can enjoy them.
Smoke strikes out, but the Blue Jays, with a big bottom half of the first inning, have taken the lead. Kevin Gausman staked to a 2-0 lead. Bautista leads it off with a homer. Encarnacion follows suit. How about 3 in a row with Tulowitzki?
In his 1-year anniversary as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, he told me today it feels like he's been here a lot more than 1 year. And while he feels very comfortable and has a lot of friends in that clubhouse right now, he says the first few weeks with this team, it was really difficult. It was a slow process for him. He'd been with the Rockies his entire career and now found himself in a new situation. What he did say is that this year, if the Blue Jays acquire anyone else, as they have already, if they've gone through the same situation where it was a first time being traded, he'll be more than happy to offer up on his experiences. Just another example of what a great clubhouse guy Troy Tulowitzki is. And by the way, welcome back, Buck. I'm so glad to see you.
Thank you very much, Barry. It's good to be back. Jonathan Scope, the second baseman, batting in the 7th spot. 7, 8, 9 for the Orioles here in the top half of the second.
Talk about a guy coming into his own. How about Jonathan Scope at second base? Big, strong, 17 home runs as a second baseman. And he's just torn up the Jays this year.
Another fastball in a good spot. 1-2 to Scope. Great changeup. Third strikeout for Estrada. He uses that changeup to get Scope.
Yeah, sometimes it's as easy as here's the fastball early in the count. See if you can hit it. And then I'm going to use that changeup. You see how that ball comes off of his middle fingers, those two fingers on his hands. It's like a four-seam fastball spin, but it's a changeup. Just comes right off those middle fingers, and it's got backspin. This, as a hitter, just doesn't seem to get there.
Pedro Alvarez is the DH. Why would the spin on a baseball, especially the changeup, have an effect on a hitter?
Well, you know, changeups, a lot of times you try to sink it or you try to fade it away from left-handers. When it looks like a fastball, when it's got that type of backspin to it, like a fastball, that tells the hitter it looks like a fastball coming, and you start to gear yourself for the fastball, but the ball never gets there.
1-1 count to Alvarez.
Surprised more pitchers don't throw four-seam type changeups like that.
Well, you should throw the same changeup as your fastball. Marco throws four-seam fastball, so he should throw four-seam changeups.
Chris Tillman, who we're going to see on Sunday, is starting to throw that type of changeup.
The reason, just like you explained very well, is you see the spin, it says fastball, and it's a changeup.
The arm speed says fastball, but the ball doesn't get there.
Here's the 2-2. He stayed back on that changeup, had a pretty good hack at it.
And we talked about it last inning about how the Seattle Mariners seem to be sitting on that changeup. And to do that, the way you hit that is you wait till you see the baseball.
It's a line drive into right. Bautista will play it on a hop, and Alvarez will reach with a one-out single.
Well, let's take a look at the scattering report for Marco Estrada. His pitch usage, fastball about 48% of the time, and it's only 88, 89 miles an hour. He's going to use that changeup a third of the time. Combine that with his curveball, and there's the cutter. That's the important pitch right there that he says is the pitch that really has put him over the top. He'll use that 13% of the time. In his last start against Seattle, he only used it 3% of the time.
This is the shortstop, J.J. Hardy, batting in the 9th spot. Hardy's 33 years old. He's in his 11th big league season. Sixth season with the Orioles, and boy, he has really found a home here in Baltimore.
Yeah, and they've got a good one. Since returning from the disabled list, these numbers are part of that. You can see over his last 19, he's at 382, but since returning from the disabled list with that fractured foot, he's over 300.
And getting him back obviously allowed the Orioles to move Machado from shortstop back to his position at third.
The only team that's better on the left side of the infield than the Baltimore Orioles, Toronto Blue Jays, with Tulowitzki and Donaldson.
It's really interesting how similar they are in their styles. And I think you'd say neither Machado nor Donaldson, and they're tough to separate athletically.
Blue Jays are second in the American League in fielding percentage. The Baltimore Orioles are third. I mean, this is how tight these teams are. When you look at the stats between these two teams, they're almost identical. They hit a lot of home runs. The left sides of their infields, great. Tulowitzki, Donaldson, come on. Steady.
Full count. Fly ball into center. Pilar broke back. Now he makes an adjustment and makes the catch.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Center fielder Adam Jones, the leadoff man, will bat for a second time in this ball game. He was called out on strikes his first time up. Cued off the end of the bat, gets by Estrada. Here comes Barney, and what a play. Darwin Barney has been terrific, defensively and with the bat. But right there, he saves a hit for Marco Estrada. That changeup was cued right off the end of the bat by Jones. Estrada makes a desperation dive. It's past him. Barney, a do-or-die play, and he completes it. Ball clubs in the American League on display here tonight. Darwin Barney takes a hit away from Andrew Jones.
Look where he is starting at second base, right behind the umpire. Look how far he has to go as that ball is cued off the bat. Marco can't get it, but here comes Darwin Barney, hard charging to get Adam Jones at first base. Gold Glover. In fact, there's a lot of gold on both of these teams around this infield.
Adam Jones retired on a terrific play. Marco Estrada dove for it, but it was past him, and Barney was there to pick him up to end the inning. Kevin Pillar leading things off here in the bottom of the second. Pillar, since the 4th of July, is at .313. Got his average at .265 for the season. I spoke to Kevin today about what he has learned in his second full season as a big leaguer. He said, I've learned that you don't have to push yourself every day physically, whether it's in the weight room or during batting practice. So sometimes you have to let your body rest.
Game's too hard, isn't it? It's long. It's grinding and grueling. We're seeing a lot of the Blue Jay players, they don't even hit on the field anymore. Get them off their feet because they play every day. They'll still hit down in the cage, get their work done on the field. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it sure does, especially this time of the season. Blue Jays, after this game tonight, will have 59 games left on their schedule. And you got to conserve your energy, minimize the impact of those extra swings. Pillar bounces it foul. Kevin also said, I'm learning more about the pitchers and what they're trying to do to get me out. He's got some good teammates like Jose Bautista to talk things over about plan of attack of various pitchers. Kevin takes a leadoff walk. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Tampa Bay at 39-61. Tough season for them, and they're in a lot of trade rumors talking about the possibility of moving some of those pitchers.
Lots of rumors going around with their pitchers.
Darwin Barney with Pilar at first. Barney's in the lineup because he's got good numbers against Kevin Gausman. He is 4 for 6 with a home run against the Orioles righty.
Asked John Gibbons that today. Is that a straight numbers play that you are using at second base? Said, yes. he's come up with some really good at-bats and big hits for us this year.
Darwin's batting .284 for the season. But it seems like he has more hits than he really has because he's gotten so many big hits.
Big hits for the Blue Jays. He had a double the other day. It was a hit that really set up that inning and that improbable comeback win against San Diego.
But down the third baseline, Machado backhands, throws him out. Manny Machado handled it flawlessly as he throws out Barney. The sacrifice moves Pilar to second, puts him into scoring position, and Barney turns the lineup over to Bautista.
I like that play. You can hope for a base hit, trying to move that runner up, trying to catch Manny Machado back. Whenever you play these two teams, you can't make mistakes. They're so fundamentally sound defensively. They don't beat themselves. They've got good bullpens. So John Gibbons plays the percentages right there and moves up that leadoff walk into scoring position.
Bautista hit a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first of 3 home runs for the Blue Jays in the first inning. It's the first time since June 24th of 2009 that the Blue Jays have hit 3 home runs in the first inning. That was against Bronson Arroyo and the Reds. Aaron Hill, Vernon Wells, and Adam Lynn all went deep in the first inning. They've done the same here tonight. Oh, nice pick. Not only was it a good pick, but he had balance enough to make a throw to second with Pilar ranging a bit off the back.
Yeah, Kevin was thinking about moving up against the Gold Glove catcher Matt Wieters. He was thinking about getting to third base with less than 2 outs, but watch this play. Changeup comes all the way around, picks it, and then fires to second. And it's close.
Ball and a strike to Bautista. Changeup and a good one. The Blue Jays with their 3 home runs in their first inning. It's the second time this season they've hit 3 homers in an inning. They did it on July 5th against Kansas City. Carrera, Donaldson, and Tulowitzki all going deep against Kansas City. High fastball, and Bautista is down on the strikes.
I remember that game you were talking about with the Cincinnati Reds and Bronson Arroyo. That was about 7 or 8 pitches in the first inning, and it looked like batting practice. I'm like, what time is it? Thought it was 5 o'clock.
2 down for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson flying out to center field his first time up. He goes after the first pitch. Donaldson, of course, the reigning American League MVP. And there are always conversation about who's the best player in the game. And the first people think about Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. Donaldson's got to be included in that conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The numbers that he has put up over the last couple of years, offensively and defensively, and historically, the seasons that he is having.
Strike 2. Donaldson, his second in the American League with a OPS of exactly 1. There have only been 4 third basemen that have finished the season with an OPS of 1,000 or better. 0-2 pitch. Fouls it out of play. The previous 4 third basemen had completed a season with an OPS over 1,000. Troy Glaus did it in 2000. Alex Rodriguez did it twice, 2005 and 2007, and Miguel Cabrera did it in 2013. A-Rod and Cabrera were MVPs in those seasons.
That's right. Historic types of season, and Josh is right there with them.
Another 0-2 pitch to Donaldson. That gets by, and Pilar will go to third. Wieters came up on that ball and went right through his legs all the way back to the backstop.
He came up and the ball stayed down in the dirt, and then Kevin Pilar can pick up his 90 feet on the wild pitch. One more time, watch the ball. He goes down to his knees, comes up, and the ball stays down.
That has scored a wild pitch, and most catchers will tell you that's a ball that's got to be blocked. It's right in front of the catcher. All you got to do is go down on your knees and block it. You'll save the 90 feet. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. We're at the bottom of the second. Donaldson checked his swing. Both of these lineups that the starters are dealing with tonight will make you take extra time to think about the next pitch.
Yeah, you can't think about, well, if I make this pitch, it could leave the ballpark. I think you just have to stay aggressive and keep the ball down as much as possible.
And that splitter that's down in the dirt, it's a full count to Donaldson. Encarnacion on deck. He homered in his first at bat. Good splitter. Donaldson strikes out. Gosman leaves a runner at third. We'll go to the third inning. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead over the Orioles.
Fans, the 32nd annual Lady J's Food Drive is taking place this weekend in support of Food Banks Canada. Fans are encouraged to donate non-perishable food items upon entrance to the stadium, provide monetary donations, or purchase mystery bags. For more information, visit bluejays.com/LadyJays. And I know both of you are former Jays, and I imagine both Mrs. Tabler and Mrs. Martinez did their share of work, too.
You bet they did, Barry. They were both very diligent in their support of the Jays Care Foundation, and Lady Jays have been doing a great job for a number of years getting out, collecting those donations.
Yeah, you don't need to bring canned foods or non-perishable food items, monetary value, and it's going to be doubled this year.
Just foul. Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire, had a long look at that. Wayne Kirby, the first base coach for the Orioles, not so sure.
They're going to look at this one. Buck Showalter has already looked into the dugout. That's his bench coach, John Russell. It looked close. Of course, they can review this because it's behind the base umpire.
If a line drive passes an umpire, watch Reynolds, the umpire, at first. He's got a good look at it, really takes a good position, and as he saw it, he thought it was foul. So now the Orioles are taking a look at it, and they're going to ask for the review. So Jim Reynolds will go to the headset along with Brian O'Neill, the second base umpire, and they'll listen into New York as they review it in New York. Obviously a very important play here as the batter Kim is leading off the inning, and that ball is fair. Then what do you do with placing the runner? The replay review is powered by Samsung.
I was wondering the same thing, so I asked the truck, what did the ball do after it hit on the line, and it actually went into the stands and hit a fan right there. So that's going to be a double. I was thinking the same thing, that if it was fair and it just bounced down there, the runner stopped running. If they call this fair, it looked like it kicked right on the end of that line. And they're calling it foul. Thank goodness. I think the Blue Jays caught a break right there.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Kim was less than a third of the way to first base when that ball was up against the wall. So the Blue Jays get the benefit of the review.
I was thinking along just like you were. Well, if that ball hit down the right field line and it was retrieved and brought back in and they changed the call, would they just give him first base?
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky. You have to really watch where the batter was. There's a changeup for the strikeout. One down. Let's check it with Jamie Campbell. Trying to slow down the red-hot Astros as Houston has really turned around an early season slump. They are now 55-46, 3 games back of the Texas Rangers, but Detroit is handling them early tonight. Blue Jays will go down to Houston starting Monday for a 4-game series. Manny Machado walked and scored his first time up.
Yeah, from here on out, every game, every series is huge for the Blue Jays. No cupcakes on their schedule right now.
Buck Showalter's team has a 1.5 game lead. They played a makeup game yesterday in Minnesota, actually last night. Manny Machado walks for his second time.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Beautiful evening in Toronto with 27 degrees at the start of play, and there is not a breath of breeze inside Rogers Center.
You were just talking about Baltimore playing a makeup game yesterday in Minnesota. That's the second time this year that they've had a makeup game in another city, where they've had 3 games in 3 days in 3 different cities. That has got to be a grind.
No question about it, when you have to fly into a city, play a game, and then fly out right after that.
Right after it. It's like an NBA schedule. Buck Showalter's team had to deal with that, and they had to deal with some sickness, some stomach virus that was going through this clubhouse over the last couple of weeks.
Davis gets jammed. Donaldson makes the play, and now they're going to have a play at third, and the ball gets away, and now Machado's going to come in to score. What a bizarre play. All the result of the shift. Donaldson, the third baseman, made the play on Davis. And Manny Machado, the runner from first, never slowed down as he rounded second, headed toward third. Russell Martin was trying to beat him to third, and then the ball got away from Martin and allowed Machado to come in and score.
What a crazy, crazy play right there by the Orioles. You have to anticipate this if you're the runner. Remember, there's nobody at third. That's Josh Donaldson with the play at first base. Smoke tries to throw it over, and watch this ball kick off the glove, go about 45 feet between home and third base, and Manny Machado circles the bases. The Orioles have not gotten the ball out of the infield this inning, and they've got to run.
That was as bizarre a play as you will ever see. But we talk about it often with the shift, because when you have a base runner going from first to second and the third baseman's on the first base side of second base, there's nobody at third. Off the end of the bat, Tulowitzki to Smoke. Trumbo's retired, but the Orioles, on a very bizarre ground out to the third baseman, have tied it up. Encarnacion will lead things off for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the third, and he homered in his first at bat to give him 34 career home runs against the Orioles, 10 more than he's hit against Boston. He has 21 against Tampa Bay, 19 against the Yankees, and 19 against the Phillies. And Edwin, third all-time against the Orioles in home runs. Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz first and second.
I get the first 4 because they play in the American League East. The Phillies, though, interleague, 19.
He did spend some time in Cincinnati, but we saw him put on a show in Philadelphia this year. Brand new ball game. 3-3 game. Encarnacion fouls it up. The Orioles tied it up, and Manny Machado has scored 2 runs tonight. He's walked both times. But that was a bizarre 5-3 ground out. Machado continued to run from first to second, went all the way to third. Russell Martin was charged with an error when he couldn't make the play on that throw from Smoke, and that allowed Machado to score.
In spring training, you go through all your defenses and you work on your defense and your cutoffs and your relays, first to third defense. You now have to work on defense on the shift. You don't just shift around and then you don't move after a ball is put in play. Everybody has different responsibilities out of that shift, and tonight it's cost them, the Blue Jays, a couple of runs.
It's cost them twice because of the shift, when Kim dropped down a first inning bunt against the shift, and now Encarnacion takes the leadoff walk. That's 3 walks issued by Gausman, and that's something you don't want to do against a powerful lineup. Put those extra base runners on.
You got to make them hit their way on. To finish that thought about the defense, it's not like the Blue Jays or any other team don't talk about defense and don't work on their defense out of the shift, but there's just some weird things that happen when you see 3 infielders on the right side and a ground out. Just crazy things start to happen.
That's exactly what Estrada's asking Gibbons right now, is what's my assignment on that ball? Well, first of all, he has to react to the weakly hit ground ball, and he's going to break toward first. And once that happens, then you got to evaluate the situation. Well, I better turn and run, but there's no way that Estrada was going to get to third ahead of Machado.
Yeah, I think he then comes home, and you put the catcher has to be aware.
That's the guy that's got to go to third right away. The catcher's got to go to third right away.
And it's something, once again, that doesn't happen all the time, but you have to be aware of it when your team is in the shift.
And when you practice it in spring training, everybody's got the same uniform on. Not quite the same. Ball and a strike to Michael Saunders. That's a good fastball. 97 really tied him up.
And looking for that ball out away from him, and it got up underneath his hands. Gausman's got a great fastball.
It's something that really makes me scratch my head, is when you see pitchers who want to come out, establish the breaking ball and throw it early, and that's what happened to Gausman. The home runs were breaking balls in the first inning. But if you see Estrada and how important his fastball location is at 88, 89 miles an hour, I think every pitcher should come out and try to establish their fastball early.
Still the best pitch in baseball, isn't it? Fastball command.
But baseball is an ego game. Nobody as a hitter wants to get beat by a fastball, and no pitcher wants to give up a hit on a fastball. But when you talk to great hitters, a well-placed fastball is still the toughest pitch to hit.
Well-placed fastball, down and away, down and in, or wherever your strong point is. That well-placed fastball, especially when you can throw as hard as Kevin Gausman can. He's upper 90s with that thing.
Little squibber out in front of home. Matt Wieters throws it away. Encarnacion's headed for third. They're going to wave him home. And then he stops. Rivera had given Encarnacion the go-ahead, waved him all the way down the line. Trumbo got the ball back in quickly. I think Edwin just looked up and saw the throw.
Mark Trumbo's upset with something that happened down the right field line. He was signaling to the bench to take a look at that. I don't know if a fan got in his way or if a fan hit him when he went to throw the ball back in. But he was really upset at the end of that play.
Well, he's not making much of an issue out of it, but I think you're right. I think something happened down there, whether a fan reached out and touched him.
I think if Edwin would have scored, I think he would have made a bigger deal about that. But he held up at third base with nobody out.
Jordan Tulowitzki. He's liable to get fastballs in this at bat. He had to break the ball out of the ballpark in the first.
One more time, swinging bunt by Michael Saunders. Wieters comes out and throws it down the right field line. See if we can see what happened. Yeah, it looked like a fan reached over there and hit Trumbo. And he was pointing to him in the stands. There's your fastball again.
Another fastball, and Gausman's got a good one. For Tulowitzki now has 17 home runs. Ground ball, that's going to score a run. Scope goes to first, and Kanashun comes in to score. And Tulowitzki picks up another RBI.
And he moves that runner over to third base. How about that for a piece of hitting by Tulowitzki? Troy slowed everything down. Let that fastball beat him just a little bit. Hit a weak ground ball to the right side. Got the runner in, got the runner over. That's why he's getting all those high fives by all his teammates in that dugout. Now the infield has to come in on Russell Martin.
Martin walked in his first plate appearance. Blue Jays now have a 4-3 lead. The Orioles infield playing in.
About halfway in the infield. Left side a little bit deeper, anticipating a ball off the bat of Russell Martin. See how the Blue Jays play this one if they want to try and steal a run here. Run that contact play with just one out.
Pretty good splitter, and Matt Wieters doing a little bit of groundskeeping out in front of home plate. Oh, 0-2. A run in here in the bottom of the third. That's why Wieters was doing the groundskeeping. He was going to call for another splitter.
He was anticipating it in the dirt, huh? You're the runner at third base. I think you have to anticipate that. He's bounced a few of them already tonight. Here it comes. Right where he was clearing out in front of home plate.
A ball and 2 strikes. Saunders at third. .97. That's a good fastball from Gausman.
It's a great combination. Fastball splitter, if he can throw it for strikes. You look at some of the numbers. This slider, batters are hitting .372 against his slider. Fastball .250, splitter .222.
Scope into center field. Saunders comes in to score. Another good at bat by a Blue Jay hitter. Martin stayed back with 2 strikes and laced it right to the feet of Jonathan Scope.
Those numbers I was just telling you about against his fastball splitter. So with 2 strikes, you got to figure it's going to be his go-to pitch. One of those. Tried to elevate the fastball that time against Russell Martin, and Russell, watch how he cuts his swing down with 2 strikes. Straight to the baseball he goes with the barrel of that bat. Finds the outfield for a single with the infield drawn in.
37 RBIs now for the Blue Jays catcher as Saunders comes in to score. Justin Smoak, the first baseman, still just 1 out. Good read by Martin as he broke as soon as he saw that ball in the dirt. That eliminates that double play possibility.
Yeah, he knows all about that, how hard that is as a catcher to block the ball and then find it and then fire to second base. Watch him bounce and then sees it in the dirt and breaks right away. You don't have to be the fastest runner to be a good base runner.
Five-three Blue Jays. Russell Martin was inching off second base, and had Gausman not stepped off, he might have taken off for third.
Yeah, J.J. Hardy recognized that. He started making the move to second base. You don't have to be the fastest to be the best. You just have to have good instincts, anticipation when you're a base runner. I think you have to know yourself, too. Know your limitations. If you can move up on a wild pitch, if you can go first to third or second to home on a base hit.
It all begins before the pitch is thrown.
You're prepped. Right now, as a base runner, you're taking a look at where the shortstop's playing. You're taking a look at where the outfield is playing, just in case there's a line drive into the outfield.
Another ball in the dirt. Good block by Wieters. Gausman has one out here in the bottom of the third, and his next pitch will be number 70. Popped out of play by Smoke. You know, when you see Kevin Gausman, and you mentioned he's a former #1 pick, he's got a perfect build for a pitcher. Throws 97. And then you compare what he's done this year to what Aaron Sanchez is doing. It's dramatically different. And Sanchez, of course, with the good curveball, and he's really added a very effective changeup.
Do you think that might be the only separator? That he's got a better, Aaron's got a better curveball?
No, not at all. I think there are more separators than that. First of all, the movement on his fastball and his ability to command his fastball. I think that
good starting point.
Separates him from many pitchers. I think Aaron Sanchez has really developed into a premier young starting pitcher. Of course, this is his first full season, and you know he's going to have to do that for a few years, but he's certainly off on the right foot. Matt Wieters doing a little bit of equipment repair. That pad, you'll see it, a lot of catchers will use it. It's a foam wedge designed to take some of the pressure off your knees when you're in the squatting position.
They used to call those knee savers?
Knee savers, yep. Unfortunately, we never heard of those things that I caught.
I was going to say, did you ever use a knee saver, Buck?
No.
I don't recall you ever wearing those.
I never had a knee saver, never had a shoulder pad, never had any of that other stuff.
You never even wore a batting helmet, did you?
No. Weighed too much. Kevin Pillar, he walked and was stranded in the second. First pitch strike. Buck Choa was talking with Dave Wallace, the Orioles pitching coach. Base hit to center field. Martin will jog home. Another 3-run inning for the Blue Jays as Kevin Pillar delivers a 2-out base hit.
How about that for clutch? Clutching up, fighting that fastball off and drilling it into center field. Kevin Pillar comes up with a A base hit, his 41st RBI, and that's going to bring Dave Wallace, who got the message from Buck Showalter, what he wanted to say to his starting pitcher. Blue Jays grinding out these at-bats. Fastball inside, and Pilar lines it into center field. They have now sent 6 men to the plate. Darwin Barney's going to be number 7 this inning.
That is Vince Worley, who has been used as a spot starter. And he was up and throwing through 2 pitches last night in the bullpen, and Buck Showalter had received word that Kevin Gausman's plane had been canceled flying from Baltimore to Toronto. So they didn't know if he was going to get here in time to make this start. So they scratched Worley from any activity last night.
Yeah, so he had to fly to Detroit and actually got a car service and then drove to Toronto from Detroit for the start. He didn't go to Minnesota with the team for the makeup game yesterday.
Darwin Barney dropped down a beautiful sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning. Blue Jays with 2 3-run innings have doubled up the Orioles 6-3, and they have doubled them in hits as well. Both teams charged with an error. Both catchers have committed an error.
Both catchers errors resulting in a run.
Wieters is getting in his work in blocking balls tonight. As Gausman has thrown a lot of those splitters in the dirt. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss with them.
But right now they don't want him to miss. They want him to start throwing some strikes with it. Way too many pitches for 3 innings. You're going to get into that bullpen early tonight.
Barney got a pretty good pitch to hit and fouled it out of play. Marco Estrada gave up 2 runs in the top of the 1st, but the Blue Jays had 3 solo home runs in the bottom half of the 1st. Full count. There are 2 down, so Pilar, the base runner at first, will be off on the pitch. Bautista will bat if Barney can reach base, keep the inning alive. They're holding Pilar. There he goes. And Barney strikes out. Good splitter. Ends the inning. So we'll go to the 4th. It's 6-3 Blue Jays. And here comes the Ultimate Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products. has done a terrific job of shutting down opponents. Look at the batting average leader in the major leagues. Quite a contrast in styles.
Yeah, better than Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer, some fireballers for the Dodgers in the Nationals. Marco Estrada just 179, and in historical context, he is with an elite group of pitchers if he can continue to do this for the rest of the season.
In the American League, the lowest opponent's batting average in a season all time. Pedro Martinez, while pitching for the Red Sox in 2000, held the opponents to a 167 opponent's batting average. Louis Tiant in 68, pitching for the Indians, had a 168 opponent's batting average. Nolan Ryan, 72 in California with the Angels, had a 171, and then he did it again with Texas in 91.
20 years later.
172. Yeah, 20 years later.
20 years later.
He'd lost a little bit on his fastball. The opponent's batting average went up a point.
And then there's Marco Estrada with the 5th best all time in the American League at 179.
Popped up out of play.
That season you were talking about with Pedro Martinez, the 2000 season when he was with Boston, 167. He threw 217 innings that year, gave up 128 hits, 284 strikeouts, an ERA of 174.
Broken Matt Tapper back to Estrada, and Wieters is retired. Yeah, that season for Pedro Martinez is arguably one of the best pitching seasons in history, as he was just so dominant.
18-6.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
284 strikeouts and 217 innings. He only had 32 walks the whole season and gave up 42 earned runs. Almost as many walks as earned runs that he gave up that year. His whip that year, 0.92. Marco Estrada is right there with him.
Jonathan Scope jumps back from an inside fastball. Ball and a strike to the Orioles second baseman.
I like when you start comparing guys who are doing things nowadays to the greats of the game.
Line drive into center. Pilar will play it on a hop. Tries to block it. It goes away from him. Bautista's there to back him up. Good play by Bautista, coming over to help out Pilar to hold Scope to a long single.
Yeah, every time the ball is put in play, all 9 players on the diamond should be moving somewhere. Kevin Pilar had thoughts of maybe catching this ball, but when he decides to pull up, he's going to play it off his chest. And there's Jose Bautista. Big hop off the chest. There's Jose to back him up and hold Scope to a single.
That keeps the double play in order. Good teamwork between Pilar and Bautista. Pedro Alvarez hit a high changeup for a base hit into right field, his only time up.
Blue Jays are in that shift once again with 3 infielders on the right side. If there's a ground ball to Smoke or Barney, it'll be Troy Tulowitzki. It looks like he's going to come across the bag.
And there's always conversation going on between the middle infielders. Donaldson is talking to Barney now because of the 2-strike situation. Tulowitzki shifts a little bit further to the pull side.
And it might be Josh Donaldson with the double play, being able to turn the double play. He might come across the bag like a shortstop. You can see him getting a little bit closer to that bag.
Ball in the dirt. 3-2. The interesting situation as to whether or not the Orioles start the runner at first. Alvarez not a good runner at the plate. Scope not going. Ball is driven into center and deep. Pilar is back. It's over his head off the wall. He plays it perfectly and will make Scope stop at third as Alvarez slides in with his second hit of the night, a ringing double off the wall in center.
Tell you how deep both of these lineups are. That's Pedro Alvarez, the DH, hitting 8th tonight for the Baltimore Orioles. He's already got a single, and now he's got a double. Takes that pitch, hits it hard to center field. Pilar did the right thing. Realized he wasn't going to catch it. Plays it perfectly, so Scope cannot score. He is at third base. Watch him back off and give himself enough room to catch it, barehand it, and fire and hit the cutoff man.
One out, second and third. J.J. Hardy flew out to Pilar. Back in the second. Ground ball. That'll score a run. Tulowitzki to first. Scope comes in to score. And it's a 6-4 Blue Jays lead.
Hey, anytime you have a chance to get runs, you have to take advantage of it. I mean, these teams are so deep with offense. 3-run lead is nothing in the American League East. Nothing.
We're in the top of the fourth, and the two ball clubs have scored 10 runs. This is a tough series for pitchers. Both lineups are deep, and having conversation around the batting cage about whether or not other divisions have such tough fought series as we see so often in the AL East.
I think each division has good teams, and I think they've got combative teams, and they battle you. But from top to bottom, all 5 teams, American League East, I think, takes the cake.
Well, obviously a lot of people are going to look at the National League Central Division with the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Pirates in there, and the Pirates are 8.5 games back. But then you got Milwaukee and Cincinnati.
Yeah, you got 2 bad teams in the National League Central.
And this year, people will argue, and they're correct in saying that Tampa Bay is not a good team this year. 39 wins, 61 losses. But the Yankees are over 500, and they're in 4th place. 2-1. Adam Jones fouls it out of play.
What other division has 4 teams over 500? 0. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. And that's the kind of balance. And the Oriole players were talking about it. No matter where you go, you're going to get a pretty good pitching effort from Tampa Bay. The Yankees, you never know what they'll do in Yankee Stadium, especially. 2-2 to Jones, and Estrada uses the changeup. 5 strikeouts for Estrada. He leaves the top of the 4th with a 6-4 lead. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Bautista has homered already tonight. Donaldson's 0 for 2, and Encarnacion has homered and scored a pair of runs. of the ball game after throwing just 79 pitches. He gives up 3 home runs tonight to run his season total to 19. And the Blue Jays hit him hard, hit him often in that first inning. 3 solo home runs off the bat of Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. Erased an early Blue Jays deficit.
Runners on in his 3 innings. Lots of runners, base runners. So he is out of the ball game, and into the ball game comes Vance Worley. He's a former starter. He is now the long man in that bullpen for Buck Showalter. 2-1 with 309 earned run average. He's going to give them some length tonight. After the starter Kevin Gausman can only go 3 innings.
Worley faced the Blue Jays just once this season. He came in relief of Ubaldo Jimenez after Jimenez could get just 1 out in the start. Worley gave the Orioles 4 1/3 effective relief. Disappointing start for Gausman, whose record coming into this game 2-7. This was his 19th start. Bautista with a 3-0 count. In case you missed it, Bautista homered in his first at bat tonight. A deep home run to left field. For Jose, his 13th home run of the season. His first since coming off the disabled list.
He was on that thing. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. This is going to be a curveball in the first inning from Kevin Gausman to Jose Bautista. Jose puts it off the facing of the second deck. A blast. That's what he can give you. Home runs. He can take his walks when he needs to. High on-base percentage. That time comes up empty on that fastball.
1 down.
The checkered flag event is back, celebrating over 50 years of racing heritage in every Honda. Now is a great time to get into the all-new Civic.
Donaldson 0 for 2 so far. He has flat out and struck out. Sinking fastball misses inside. 2-1. Beautiful evening here at Rogers Center. First of 3 against the Orioles to wrap up this long homestand.
It's going to be a rocking weekend, isn't it? They already had the bands playing out there today. The fans rocking and rolling. Tomorrow the same thing with Junior J Saturday, and then what a pitching matchup on Sunday.
Chris Tillman and Aaron Sanchez will wrap this pregame series up on Sunday. Tillman 14-3, Sanchez 11-1. Blue Jays will then head out on the road for a 7-game road trip through Houston and Kansas City. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, on the artificial surface. Donaldson is 0 for 3.
I think if you're Buck Showalter, you got to give the Blue Jays a different look. And Vance Worley's got a different look than Kevin Gausman. I'm just feeling that Gausman didn't have it tonight. Too many good at-bats by the Blue Jays, so let me go to my long man out of that pen. This isn't foreign territory for him. Been a starter in the past with Philadelphia. This gives the Blue Jays a different look.
Well, he's made 85 career starts. His career high in 2012. He made 23 starts for the Phillies. Got a lot of movement on that fastball. You can see it's just 90, 92 miles an hour, but there's a distinct movement. Sink to it. Yeah.
One pitch goes this way, another pitch goes that way. He works quicker, throws more strikes with his fastball.
Swinging a drive deep to center field. Jones on the run. It is at the base of the wall, and Connoisseur headed for second. He's in there with the slide. Edwin, a perfect night, a home run, a walk, and now a double.
Already has one home run tonight, that one in the first inning. Edwin thought he had another one. Looked like a breaking ball. Spin Edwin's bat up to center field, just like Pilar did last inning, where he gave up on the ball and then got it back into the infield quickly. Adam Jones gives up on that one because it's hit so hard right over his head.
That double right at the base of the wall is the 300th career double for Edwin Encarnacion. A terrific milestone double. Michael Saunders is the hitter. Saunders had a swinging bunt out in front of home. That's the ball that Matt Wieters threw down the right field line for an error. Cutter missed inside.
Don Gibbons was asked the other day about Michael Saunders' season, and he was saying, you know what, he takes a lot of pitches. He understands the strike zone, and he just doesn't go outside of the strike zone to swing at bad pitches. He always seems to get himself in great hitters' counts. This time, Worley's not even close.
Got a base open and didn't throw anything close to Saunders, so Troy Tulowitzki will have a chance now with runners at first and second. Tulo has driven home 2 so far tonight. That gives him 50 for the season. Up and in.
Almost walked right into that one. He was looking for something away. Starts to stride, and Worley's fastball goes up and in. He's got to duck out of the way. He's never faced Vance Worley in his career. I thought they might have faced each other somewhere in the National League.
Ground ball to short. Hardy will go across the diamond and retire Tulowitzki. We'll go to the 5th. The Blue Jays have a 6-4 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays Baseball live on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com At Bat app. Customize At Bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com At Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. Buck, a fan asked me tonight, is any chance we'll see you filling in for Matt Devlin during the basketball season called Little Hoops?
Not a chance. No, I don't know anything about that sport. I'd turn that over to Tabby. I'd give that to Pat first. He could do that.
I could do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'll fill in if they need me to.
No, you know what? I'm busy in the wintertime. Well, not so much. I want to thank everybody that was concerned about me. A lot of people send me messages. Are you okay? Are you sick? No, I'm just fine. I was just on a vacation. Spent it with my lovely wife and my son and his wife and our beautiful granddaughters and just chilled out. I thought my name is Where You Been?
Yeah, because you probably heard it today. You wouldn't believe how many people stopped me in the hotel to ask where you are.
Well, I think most of them were concerned that I might have been sick or something, but I was fine. Just taking a little time off.
I'd say to them, you never ask about me. What's up?
Well, you never took off that many days in a row. I think that was
so.
the big thing.
You should have heard what some of the coaches were saying about you when you were gone. Was he taking off another series?
They told me, yeah. They told me today.
They let you know,
Oh,
right?
yeah. But all's good. We're back and looking forward to another big, strong finish for the Blue Jays. 2-2 to Kim. He fouls it back. Kim dropped down a perfect bunt his first time up, came around to score the first run of this ball game. He struck out on a changeup in the third. Another changeup, weakly hit ground ball. Nice hop for Barney. One down. Well, we've got two of the best third basemen in all of baseball in this game, and we thought we'd take a look and compare the two third basemen.
We were talking earlier about best players in the game. Well, we thought we'd show you some of the numbers of two of the best right here, and they're very similar. Batting average similar, home runs very similar. RBIs, Josh has them by 17, and then the on-base percentage, Josh has it in that too. Defensively, they're both outstanding. In my mind, Machado's won his share of hardware at third base. And Donaldson, I think the greatest improvement Josh has had this year is defensively. He's only made 6 errors all season long. Who makes the bare hand play better than Josh Donaldson?
I've not seen anybody make it better, and we've been watching this game for a long time. And Josh will make a barehanded play off of this turf when the ball kicks and takes a funny hop because of the English on the baseball. Fly ball to center, not deep. Valera makes the catch. 2 quick outs here in the 5th.
That's how you take the sting out of the bat right there against a pretty good hitter. Throw something off speed. His timing was upset there. Just an easy fly ball to center field.
Chris Davis 0 for 2 so far, a couple of ground outs.
He has had his struggles since the All-Star break also. A lot of these Baltimore Orioles offensively have had their problems. He actually ended an 0 for 33, or excuse me, an 0 for 24 with a bunt hit. And we were talking about the defensive shifts. Blue Jays are in the shift too. Chris Davis ended an 0 for, a long 0 for with a bunt hit the other day.
This is a pop-up a mile high. Donaldson, the third baseman, is there and makes the catch. Quick inning for Marco Estrada. The Orioles retired in order for the first time tonight.
#1 rated travel rewards card in Canada, the WestJet RBC World Elite MasterCard. Visit rbc.com/WestJet to apply. And speaking of vacations, a guy who's had a lot of free time lately is this man right here, Geddy Lee, who happens to be celebrating his 63rd birthday tonight. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 20 albums with Rush, but they've since retired. So he's spending a lot of time down here at the ballpark, guys.
He is a huge baseball fan, and more often than not, we'll see Geddy Lee keeping score. And it's great to have him here. Happy birthday, Geddy Lee. Great to have you here. And there's that scorecard. Looks like he's ready to keep score and keep track of things.
It's not just a scorecard. It looks like a score book.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you and I use. How about
He's
that?
a huge baseball fan and has been for a long time. I remember the first time I saw Geddy Lee, he was in a Blue Jays uniform down in spring training. Dave Stieb and he were friends, and Dave brought him out, and I go, man, who's that skinny left fielder?
Did we just sign somebody? I remember when his whole band came out, took batting practice with us.
Yeah, that was cool.
In Dunedin. And then he returned the favor with some backstage passes to his concert in Tampa that night. That was a lot of fun.
Two to Russell Martin. Ripped down the right side into the seats. Well, it's a great opener for the Blue Jays. It's a 3-game weekend series to wrap up the long homestand. The Blue Jays in July, 11-5 here at Rogers Center. Martin checks his swing. You know, we talk about these two AL East rival ball clubs, and it's interesting how dominant the Blue Jays have been against the Orioles when they play here at Rogers Center. Going back to 2006, the Blue Jays are 66-30 against the Orioles here in this ballpark.
Hard to believe. Simply because Baltimore has had a great team.
Broken bat off the end of the bat. Scope in time. Martin retired.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Beautiful Friday night with the roof open at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 6-4 lead as they bat in the bottom of the 5th. First baseman Justin Smoak 0 for 2.
That winning percentage you were just talking about isn't the best of an opponent versus a division opponent since 2006.
Isn't that interesting? This is the home winning percentage versus any divisional opponent since 2006. Smoak grounds it to J.J. Hardy in the shift. The best opponents win percentage. Milwaukee, playing the Pittsburgh Pirates in Milwaukee, has a 65-19. That's hard to fathom. That is really dominating a division rival.
That's a winning percentage of .774.
Pittsburgh's been pretty good the last several seasons. Kevin Pillar's walked and singled. Pillar had an RBI single his last time up. Fly ball into right. Mark Trumbo over makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays are retired in order in their half of the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. Blue Jays have a 2-run lead.
Not want to miss this game on Sunday. It is Blue Jays Hawaiian Hat Day presented by TD. It is the Ballpark Beach Bash for the first 20,000 fans who will receive a Blue Jays Hawaiian hat. And then you watch the Blue Jays and the Orioles arrive early. Gates open at 11 a.m. And what a great idea, Buck. I think I'm going to wear a Hawaiian shirt Sunday. I imagine you have a few in your collection. Maybe you can lend me one. I just have this feeling you have Hawaiian shirts.
Hawaiian shirt. That was a Hawaiian hat. It's got some flowers on the bill, and that'll be an interesting giveaway, I'm sure. My shirts might be a little bit big for Barry. Marco Estrada dealing to Big Mark Trumbo. Trumbo had a first inning 2-run double to get the Orioles out in front early. He has driven in 75 for Baltimore so far this year. Marco Estrada. Pitch count up to 90. Joe Biagini starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays.
Just in case they need him to get through this inning. Bullpen a little bit deeper for the Blue Jays after they picked up Joaquin Benoit the other day. Franklin Morales came off the disabled list.
Change up, foul back. How do you like the configuration of the Blue Jays bullpen as it sits here on Friday night ahead of the non-waiver trade deadline?
There's Joaquin Benoit right there. I think he's going to bring what Jason really brought to this team. Veteran stability, guy who's been through the wars. I think bullpens become very fluid in the major leagues. 7-man bullpen now. The starters have been going a little bit deeper, so they eliminate one of their relievers. And Ross Atkins has always said, if I can make a trade that improves my team, I'm going to try and do it. They also have some depth now, if you will. Bo Schultz is back down. Ryan Tepera is back down. Aaron Loop is back down in the minor league. So if there is a problem over the next 2 months of the season, they've got some guys within the organization now.
You've got Drew Hutchison down in Buffalo. You've got Chad Gerardo down in Buffalo. They've all pitched in the big leagues. Ground ball sharply hit, but right to the shortstop, Tulowitzki. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Kansas City's been in the midst of trade rumors, whether or not they will move Wade Davis, their closer. There's been speculation that if you make a trade for Wade Davis, you've got to take Ian Kennedy with him.
I don't know. That might be a good trade.
Ian Kennedy's got a big contract.
Yeah.
For 3 more years.
Well, I know I saw Lorenzo Cain has come back for Kansas City tonight.
He's been activated. He hasn't played since the middle of June. A.J. Griffin is pitching very well for Texas. 4 innings of 1-hit ball. Matt Wieters waves at another changeup and strikes out. Second time he's gone down swinging tonight.
6th time that Marco Estrada has struck out a Baltimore Oriole, and he uses the changeup again. Look at that thing. Right in the fingers. You throw it as hard as you can. That one dipped just a little bit more than we normally see from Marco. He has the lowest batting average allowed this year against changeups in the American League. Batters are only hitting 150 off that changeup.
Crosses up Scope, but misses with that first pitch fastball. You know, we talk about Estrada and throwing that great changeup and how he throws it with a 4-seam spin. So it looks like a fastball out of his hand. Bouncing ball. Donaldson backs up, reaches back for a little extra. No problem at all for Josh. 3 up, 3 down. Estrada's retired 8 in a row.
What a gorgeous night it is for baseball here at the Rogers Center, and a wonderful night to be sitting in those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone. And tonight we welcome guests of TD. Meanwhile, over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are the fine folks from Food Banks Canada. And another reminder, if you're coming down to the games this weekend, please bring some non-perishable food items or some money. They will take that as well, but everything you can do that can help would be fantastic.
It sure would be, and the Blue Jays' wives are involved in that food drive. Darwin Barney goes after the first pitch and grounds out to second base. Marco Estrada gave up 2 runs in the top of the first, but settled down, and he leaves after a handshake from John Gibbons with a 6-4 lead. Estrada in line for the win. And a good bounce back effort after a kind of a shaky start against Seattle.
A shaky start, a little rusty in that start, and then 2 runs in the first inning. Pretty good after that. In that start against Seattle, it was the first time allowing more than 5 hits since April the 16th. Tonight, 6 innings.
Back to 5.
Back to 5 again. I mean, he's so consistent, isn't he?
What a year he's put together. Bautista fouls it out of play. You know, and Marco coming into this game with a 5-4 record, his ERA at 2.94 at the start of play tonight. That ERA up to 3.02. He allowed 4 runs, 3 earned runs in his 6 innings of work. But I mentioned that in reference to the win total. And so often pitchers are graded on the number of wins they have, and Marco Estrada is the perfect example of wins don't tell the entire story, especially about a starting pitcher.
Yeah, he came into this game with a record of 5-4. And all the other variables have been outstanding.
Bautista called out on that inside fastball.
Like it might have been a cutter that time from Vance Worley, who's come in and really settled down everybody here for Baltimore. Ball comes in just a little bit. Bautista thinks it's inside. Manny Gonzalez doesn't.
Inside, it might have been low as well. Josh Donaldson 0 for 3. Another slider down and away. Well, one area where the Blue Jays have really gotten great support is from the fans. There are now over 40,000 for their average attendance for the season here at home.
Best in the American League.
Best in the American League coming into this game after 53 dates. 40,033 the average attendance, and it looks like another sellout crowd tonight.
So that we went over 2 million on this homestand, and they're on pace for over 3 million. 3.2 million the last time they drew 3 million. 1993.
Another great reminder that the best marketing tool in the world is winning baseball. Off the end of the bat, Adam Jones into center field. Donaldson's retired. Vance Worley has really quieted the Blue Jay bats since coming into this ball game. We'll go to the 7th. 6-4 Blue Jays. Joaquin Benoit will come in to start the 7th for the Jays.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda, the checkered flag event is back, celebrating over 50 years of racing heritage in every Honda.
New pitcher for the Blue Jays is the veteran Joaquin Benoit, who has just turned 39 years old on the 26th of July. Those are his numbers combined between the Mariners and the Blue Jays.
The newest Blue Jay, Joaquin Benoit, looks like he's going to be the 7th inning man. He and Brett Cecil, who is now up throwing, as they bridge to the back end with Osuna. Benoit pitched the other day against San Diego, had an inning, a couple of walks, and a couple of strikeouts. He was throwing 94 in that game the other day against San Diego. Combines that with a very good splitter.
Benoit acquired from the Seattle Mariners in exchange for Drew Story. Well, that's a tough strike right there. And Pedro Alvarez voicing his displeasure with the call. And now the Orioles dugout supporting Alvarez from the bench. One and two. As we mentioned, Benoit is 39 years old. He began his career with the Texas Rangers and spent the first 8 seasons with Texas.
One of his teammates over there was Jason Grilli. So they had been together on other teams. He's been around. He's had some pretty decent seasons as a reliever in the big leagues.
He had a 24 save season in Detroit in 2013. Then he went to San Diego, Seattle, and now Toronto. But he has played in Texas, Detroit, San Diego, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and now with the Blue Jays. 2-2 pitch. There's that splitter, and Pete Walker likes his assortment of pitches, how it really complements the rest of his relievers down in that bullpen.
Yeah, he's been looking for a guy who threw a split finger type of fastball, because he says, I really like it as a reliever. You can get a lot of ground balls with it. It's a different look.
There's another one grounded weakly. Smoke shovels to Benoit just late. Jim Reynolds calls Benoit for off the bag as Alvarez hustled down the line.
Troy Tulowitzki pointed into the dugout. He was standing right there too. He says, you got to take a look at that one. And it looks like the Blue Jays are going to ask to take a look at this one, or asked to look at it one more time. Does he get the bag, the back end? He hops over the bag. Yeah, he got it. He got the corner.
He got it the first time, but he reached for it again, and I think that's where Jim Reynolds made the call.
That first shot we have looked like he kicked and moved the bag. Right there. Right when he picked his toe, but it looked like he kicked the bag, and they're going to look at it.
Well, you can't really fault Jim Reynolds for making the safe side on that. His foot was inside the base. It looked like it may have brushed up against the inside of it before he reached back and tried to retouch the base.
Right. That he steps and misses, but then when he picks his foot up right there, it looked like he got the bag. And then, for good measure, he tried to stay on it one more time. Watch the bag move as he picks his foot up. Here, picks it up. And that was before Alvarez got there. Now, do they have a definitive view of it?
That's going to be difficult to overturn, because Benoit kicks at the base after the fact, suggesting that he felt like he missed it. I think this is going to be a tough one to overturn. The Orioles asked for a review in the 3rd inning on a line drive off the bat of Young-Soo Kim down the right field line, and they lost that appeal. Yeah, that's what I thought, because it was was just so close and so difficult. There was no really definitive view to tell you that he indeed stepped on the bag.
You know, it looked like he stepped, missed it, and then when his foot came up, it like kicked the bag, and it moved just a little bit, but evidently in New York, that wasn't enough for him to overturn it.
It is an air charge to Benoit. We're failing to touch the base. That's the 7th error the Blue Jays pitchers have been charged with this season. And it's a big one as it brings J.J. Hardy to the plate representing the tying run. Good pitch in a good spot. It's 0-2.
Can always get that ground ball once again with that good splitter. Jumps ahead with the fastball.
Ground ball. Barney to Tulowitzki. Back to first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie. And Milos Raonic, he's got that big, powerful serve. He had a couple of serves over 140K in his last match. That's like trying to hit a 135-mile-an-hour fastball.
No thanks. How about just trying to get it back in play?
Lots of swings and misses. Adam Jones 0 for 3. Benoit makes that big double play to erase his own error. I spoke to Adam Jones about what he thought of the AL East pennant race. He said it's just exactly like you would expect. 3 teams you could throw a blanket over. Baltimore, Toronto, and Boston within 2.5 games. Brett Cecil is loose and standing by. Hyun-Soo Kim is on deck, a left-handed hitter. Jones takes ball 4. Interesting now to see what John Gibbons does. He has Cecil ready. Kim is not a power hitter per se. He has 13 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 10 doubles.
Looks like he's holding Brett Cecil back because there isn't a lot of power from Kim. Going to hold him back and save him for Chris Davis.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there. Chris Davis is 2 batters away. Cecil is loose. He's just going to go pitch for pitch as he watches Benoit. Fly ball left field. Saunders ranging back in front of the warning track, and Benoit gets out of it. An error and a walk. No damage. Pete Walker with instructions to the bullpen. new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Tonight it's going to be drives of the game, and they all happened in the first inning. Jose Bautista with a leadoff home run. That's his 13th of the season. Blue Jays get one of those runs back. Edwin Encarnacion with number 28 ties it up with that home run, and then Troy Tulowitzki with number 17 tying his high of last season. Tulo hit 17 home runs in 2015. That gave the Blue Jays a 3-2 lead. Tonight's drives of the game.
Pretty good way to start the game offensively for the Blue Jays. 3 solo home runs in the first. They also scored 3 runs in the third, and that's where we stand, 6-4 Blue Jays. Vance Worley's done a nice job for the Orioles, conserving some of those bullpen innings. He came into this ball game in the fourth. He's allowed just a double and a walk. High fly ball to right. Trumbo right on the edge of the warning track is there, and he makes the catch.
He came in, the first batter he faced was Jose Bautista. So he's gone 1 time through the lineup, and he's working the second time through. 9, 10, 11, 12 batters he's faced now in his 4th inning of work. He has really settled things down for the Orioles.
It's really a terrific effort for the Orioles to have a long reliever come in here and keep the Blue Jays in check. There's a drive to center. Jones back. It's a nice running catch for Jones. Looked like that ball was going to get over his head. It kept sailing on him, but he's there to make the catch for the second out of the inning.
I told you there is gold on both of these teams. Gold Glove winners everywhere. There's one of them right there. That looked like extra bases playing Saunders straight away. Right away he noticed that that ball was hit hard, so he makes a beeline straight back. And then reaches up and takes away extra bases from Michael Saunders.
Tulowitzki goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Glenn Brock, the all-star reliever, loosening up in a hurry. Troy Tulowitzki has driven in a pair of runs tonight. He had that solo home run in the first with 2 outs and had an RBI on a ground out in the third. That gives him 50 ribbies for the season. 17 home runs. That ties his season total from a year ago. He had 12 in Colorado prior to the trade, and then he had 5 when he came to the Blue Jays. Jason Grilli, who has taken over the 8th inning duties for the Blue Jays. He's cranking it up. Little flare into center field. Jones will get there. Tulowitzki's retired. What a good outing for Vance Worley. He has kept the Blue Jays in check, kept them within 2. The big guns coming up for the Orioles. Machado, Davis, and Trumbo. They'll face Jason Grilli when we come back.
fans, you could win a spot to play on field at a Blue Jays fan camp in September. Visit participating Boston Pizza locations and enter when purchasing any Budweiser and burger combo. Go to BlueJays.com/BudVP contest for routes and details. Now let's get you back to Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. We have moved to the top of the 8th inning. New pitcher is Jason Grilli, who's been a nice addition to this Blue Jays bullpen.
Boy, has he ever. 40 games combined with Atlanta and Toronto, 4-3 with a 363 earned run average. That doesn't tell you the whole story. He's taken it to the next level since he has come to the Blue Jays. 50 strikeouts, 34 2/3 innings. He also has 9 holds, which is the most on the Blue Jays. Right-handers hitting just 200. Another defensive change for the Blue Jays.
Melvin Upton Jr. takes over defensively in left field for Michael Saunders. He'll bat in the 4th spot. So it is Manny Machado, Chris Davis, and Mark Trumbo for the Orioles. Big thunder in the Orioles lineup. High fastball drilled to right. Bautista on the run, on the track, at the wall. Home run. Manny Machado. His 22nd home run of the season comes on the first pitch from Grilli, and it's a 1-run game.
You know, we've been talking all night about these offenses for the Blue Jays and for the Baltimore Orioles. They hit a lot of home runs, so you're never out of any game. Home run number 22 for Manny Machado. Picking up that first pitch. High fastball from Grilli, and he was waiting for it.
It's only the 6th hit for the Orioles tonight. It's a solo home run on that high fastball. Home run number 22 for Manny Machado, RBI number 58, and just like that, it's a 6-5 ball game.
Boy, his bat stays in that hitting zone a long time. Drives that ball out of here. He's now 3 for 6 in his career versus Jason Grilli.
There's a breaking ball for his strike. That's the 10th extra base hit for Manny Machado against the Blue Jays this season. He has scored 3 of the 5 Oriole runs tonight. He walked twice and scored each time.
Don't want to face him. He just comes up with big hits against the Blue Jays.
Chris Davis, he has gotten big hits against the Blue Jays for most of his career. When you look at Davis's numbers in this ballpark, he has a .340 career batting average with 17 home runs in 44 career games. And he can hit it out to any part of this ballpark.
Yeah, that's the thing. Doesn't have to pull it to get it out of here. Likes the ball away from him where he can extend. I think the Blue Jays have to stay up and in on him.
Good breaking ball, gets away from Martin, but he'll throw to first to complete the strikeout. 1 down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Mark Trumbo is 1 for 3. Good slider for a strike. 1-1 to Trumbo.
Well, one thing you get with Jason Greeley, you get a lot of experience. Veteran, he's been around a long time. So he knows how to pitch to these guys. He's got a good breaking ball. Pretty decent fastball. It's when do you use it and where do you throw it?
Breaking ball, and Trumbo wouldn't trace. Greeley, like Benoit, is 39 years old. He too has bounced around. This is his 14th season, but he will get a milestone service time next year when he reaches 10 years of service. There's a good fastball right top of the strike zone.
Burns it right in there. It's a good combination for him. Had to deal with Manny Machado, a home run hitter. Chris Davis, a home run hitter. Now Mark Trumbo, a home run hitter.
Fastball missed up and away.
Every pitch is so important when you're facing these type of ball clubs.
Full count, 1 out. Breaking ball, line to right. Bautista is there. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Blue Jays took a 3-2 lead after 1 and haven't trailed. The Orioles, with a home run here in the 8th, have made it a 6-5 ball game. Matt Wieters 0 for 3 against Marco Estrada. A couple of strikeouts.
A couple of changeups that Wieters swung through.
Machado with the leadoff home run in the 8th. Wieters didn't like the call. It was a slider right at the knees. He and the home plate umpire having a little extended conversation. Now Buck Showalter out quickly to make sure Wieters stays in the game.
He doesn't want to lose his starting catcher. Not in this situation right here, as he gets right in between Wieters. It'd be smart if Wieters walked away.
Well, I think Buck Showalter just asked the same thing of Manny Gonzalez. Why don't we just walk away?
He wants his catcher to stay in this ball game.
Buck Showalter has not been happy with Manny Gonzalez's strike zone since the first batter of the ball game. Adam Jones was called out on a low fastball. So we'll pick things up. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Matt Wieters. There are 2 outs. One thing about these games, they're never dull. Matthews strikes out. Jason Grilli with 2 more strikeouts after giving up the home run. He protects that 1-run lead. Grilli powers the fastball by Wieters for the strikeout. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
On the road after this homestand, but then they are back for lots of home baseball in the month of August, starting with the Tampa Bay Rays, August 8th through 10th. Then the Houston Astros pay a visit from the 12th to the 14th. The Angels in from the 23rd to the 25th, and then the Minnesota Twins wrap up the month from the 26th through the 28th. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets, and once again, another busy month at home for the Blue Jays in August. Buck?
It's going to be a great couple of months of baseball here, and it's reminiscent of what happened with the Blue Jays last year at this time. New pitcher for the Orioles is Brad Brock, who has had a terrific start to his season. This will be his 46th appearance of the season.
He's an all-star. 6-1 out of that bullpen. ERA microscopic 1.17. He also leads the team in holds with 18 of them. And that's what Buck Showalter is looking for right here, a hold in the bottom of the 8th.
It'll be Martin, Smoke, and Pilar for the Blue Jays. They have a 1-run lead. And the Orioles and Blue Jays have hit that magic number again. 11 runs scored in this game. They have averaged that for the 11 games they have played so far this season. Coming into this game, the teams have split the first 10 games, 5 apiece.
Yeah, each team with 5 wins, and every one of these games they're like this. You get that playoff atmosphere type of feel to it. They're close. One call, one play, one miscue could be the difference between a win and a loss.
Every team in the division has won the division over the past 6 seasons. That's balance.
That's balance. That's why we were talking earlier, the American League East. Come on. Tough.
You know, and everybody talks about how the East is going to beat up on each other and it's not going to take many wins. Well, over the last 6 seasons, the average win total for the division champ, 95.6. So you got to win some games to win the division. Inside, full count to Martin.
Blue Jays have been out of the division for a while, haven't they?
They won last year with 93 wins. They had a 6-game cushion. Orioles won 96 to win the division in 2014. 3-2 pitch to Martin. Breaking ball, and he strikes out.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
In town right next to Rogers Center as we are in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out. We'll be right back here tomorrow afternoon. Giovanni Gallardo, the right-hander, will go to the mound for the Orioles against the lefty Jay Happ. Jay Happ at 13-3, a career high in wins with 13 wins.
Got that in his last start. You were just talking about the American League East. The Blue Jays have been out of the American League East. Last time they faced a team from this division, June 19th.
30 games.
Same Baltimore Orioles.
Roberto Osuna, the closer, loosening up. .54 means no worries. Good fastball from Rocky. The Orioles have a terrific bullpen, anchored by their closer, Zach Britton, who is also an all-star. And Buck Showalter's had concerns about their starting pitching. Tonight, Kevin Gausman went early, 3 innings, 6 earned runs on 6 hits, and 3 home runs allowed.
They just got Darren O'Day back to help that bullpen you were talking about. Deep.
Brad Brock, Darren O'Day, and Zach Britton are as good as it gets. That's Chris Tillman, who will go to the mound on Sunday, opposed by Aaron Sanchez. Talk about a classic pitching matchup. High fly ball to left. Kim waits and makes the catch. 2 down here in the 8th. The Blue Jays are a game and a half behind the Orioles in second place in the American League East. With a win tonight, they will creep to within a half game. Boston plays later on tonight against the Angels in Anaheim. You talk about a tough loss last night. David Price with a terrific start for Boston. Hanley Ramirez made a throwing error that cost the Red Sox 2 runs, and the Angels walked them off in the bottom of the ninth.
That's why this is the best, isn't it? I mean, we're heading into the last 2 months of the baseball season, and this is when the games get excruciating fun.
Well, you can see the focus on the Blue Jays bench. Everybody's into it, and they got a fast start with 3 solo home runs in the bottom of the first.
After tonight, 59 games left for the Blue Jays.
When you start the season, you say, how in the world are we going to get through 162?
You just grind and just keep coming to the ballpark every day, working.
Pilar gets jammed, and Machado scoops the short hop, and the inning is over. Brad Brock retires the side and utter. We're headed to the 9th. A 1-run game, and Roberto Osuna coming on to try to close things out. 21 of 23 in save opportunities this season. This is his 46th appearance. Benoit, Grilli, and now Osuna out of the bullpen.
Dropped that ERA under 2 in his 45 games after his last outing. He is not allowed a run in his last 10 outings to drop that ERA under 2, and Ezequiel Correa has taken over in right field for Jose Bautista. So pencil him in the leadoff spot.
Upton is in left. He came into the ball game in the 8th. Now Carrera in right. Scope, Alvarez, and Hardy, bottom third of the Orioles lineup. Scope goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Smoke, the first baseman, in foul ground. 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Brendan Dunlop. Thank you very much, guys. It's good to be back, and that's all coming up right after this ball game. Lots going on. PGA Championship and the Rogers Cup tennis. Osuna blows that fastball in there for a strike. Pedro Alvarez has been on base 3 times. Why hesitate?
Yeah. You know what? Alvarez can lose it. He can hit a home run. So go with your best pitch and just pitch away from his power.
Down and away with the heater. Do it again. Throw him a changeup. One and two, 1 out. Chip. 2 down.
Boy, you go down, 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 change up, down, then change the eye level with the rising fastball. Russell Martin wants that fastball up, then Osuna hits the glove. Foul tip, and Russell holds on to it.
J.J. Hardy. Hardy is 0 for 3 with an RBI. Had a RBI on a ground out in the 4th. Swinging a drive deep to left field. That's over Upton's head. It's off the wall. Upton fires it towards second. They got a shot. Not in time. J.J. Hardy just missed by a few feet of tying it up. A line drive off the top of the wall in left.
He's got some power, but the ballpark's going to hold this one. Melvin Upton did a heck of a job of getting that ball off of the wall. They wanted to go down and away. It was over the middle plate. Watch Upton get the ball off the wall, throw a strike to second base, but Hardy hustling all the way, get himself into scoring position. That was close.
Hit off the wall. Good play by Upton, but Hardy never hesitated out of the box. He is out of the ball game. Ryan Flaherty comes on as a pinch runner. Adam Jones 0 for 3 with a walk. Ground ball. Donaldson at third. Ball game. Osuna gets Jones to ground out to strand a runner in scoring position, and the Blue Jays win the first of 3 against the Orioles and close to a half game of the lead in the AL East.
Everybody knows how big this series is. The Blue Jays got it going early. 3 home runs in the first inning, 3 more runs in the third inning, and then great pitching the rest of the way. Estrada, Benoit, Grilli, Osuna finish it off. The Blue Jays take the first of this big 3-game series against Baltimore.
They'll be right back at it tomorrow afternoon. Giovanni Gallardo and Jay Happ. That's the pitching matchup. The Blue Jays win it 6-5. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Here's Sportsnet Central. Ken and Brendan.